Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Evelyn Shorty. We're up to number 9 in the Ka-Pow Comics Best of 2022. And it's the second one by Simon Spurrier. It's step by bloody step. I actually checked, there's a couple of writers who've both got more than one thing on here, Simon Spurrier being the first of them. After Damn Them All, an absolutely fantastic one, we're now looking at something which is a very different beast. And it's one that I've spent a bit of time going back and forth on how to describe it to you, because there is a bit of a thing about this comic book where what they actually end up doing with it isn't what I thought they were going to do, and I don't want to spoil anything. I think the reveal is fantastic, and it's a really nice plot twist, so I don't want to get too much into the plot of it. I don't want to tell you that kind of side about why I love it. So we're going to start with the art. We have Bergara and Lopez basically doing, Mateus Bergara and Matthias Bergara and Matthias Lopez, I apologise for butchering those names, doing the pencil and the inwork and something else on the colours. And it's spectacular, because this is a comic book which is completely dialogue free in terms of words we understand on the page. So it is nothing but visual storytelling. And it would be easy to get lost in that. It'd be easy to put too much into it. I've read something by Spurrier and Bergara in the past, which actually was a bit much, called Coda. It was really intense kind of stuff, and it was a bit too full on, and honestly, it was kind of exhausting by the end of it. I was kind of happy for it to be finished. This is far more subtle, far more nuanced, and that comes through in the colouring first off, because while it is certainly very rich, it isn't overwhelming. It isn't nothing but deep-hued colours. It allows itself to be subtle, it allows very subtle fades to go throughout, and it doesn't put individual colours onto every little thing that matters. It can just use simple palettes when it needs to. Effectively, it just adds to the storytelling in ways which are essential when you're effectively doing nothing but visual storytelling. And it isn't just the colours, although, yes, they're amazing, and Lopez, just keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. It's the detail of the artwork as well that comes into it, because as I said before, the Coda one, that was too over the top, too detailed. This one, the detail is there, but sometimes what you get is these massive two-page, double splash page kind of landscapes, and they are immaculate. They are huge in scope and scale, with the necessary detail when it's needed that rewards you for paying attention to it. There's times when, without seeming to be much on the page, it's possible to kind of skip forward, then realise you may have missed something and go back, or even just something captures your eye as you're about to turn the page, and you go back and realise that the effort's been there to do something special. And once you notice one thing, you can't help but notice something else. And it all comes together to tell this huge scope of story. I mean, it's an entire life of somebody is in these 4 issues. There's only ever one artist, I think, who does this kind of scale of visual storytelling, which would be J.H. Williams III. I'm thinking of Echolands specifically. This is, I don't want to say it's less rich, but the richness of J.H. Williams stuff is, again, it's quite intimidating and quite exhausting after a while. This understands that the scope of the story it's doing means if it puts everything into every single image, it could be too much. It allows the story to breathe. It gives room for all of the fantastic things to happen without hitting you over the head with any of them. And the writing here, we're now going to talk about Spurrier, because this is possibly the greatest example of a comic book ever where you get the realization that not only is everyone working together as a group, but the guy who writes the comic isn't just the guy who does the script in terms of the dialogue and the box art text on the page. It is a collaborative storytelling experience, and I've got to imagine it wasn't an easy one, because the stuff they're dealing with here, and to do it without actual any dialogue on the page, has got to have been challenging as all heck. But it works, and it's got to work by a really comfortable collaboration between people who've worked together before, and they know how each other works, and they can put together this story which is heartbreaking and heartwarming and funny and tragic and deeply cynical at times of the way certain people act, but also has so much faith in other people, overall people, really, just to be better than we expect them to be. And to do all that in this style is, frankly, mind-boggling. There is dialogue, I suppose, on the page occasionally. It very rarely happens, and it's all done in a language which doesn't exist. Like, it's not even using any kind of alphabet which you recognise. It is all symbols jumbled together in ways that I doubt anyone could actually translate, because I don't think the creators would have actually done it in a way that could be translated. But because you literally don't know what anyone is saying, it comes down again to visual storytelling to do the job for you. And I've spoken in the past before about visual storytelling kind of characterization, and it's really good. You don't need to be told what people are thinking. You can, with a good artist, you can see what they're thinking. And yeah, Bagara at this point is just a level above, because he cannot rely on script and dialogue. He has to do everything, with obviously input from the other creatives on the team. But just the way people stand, the arch of an eyebrow, a half smile, the way a hand is held as a fist or loose, every single thing matters because it has to. They can't afford to waste anything. But again, it is not cluttered. There is an elegance to it which is almost unfathomable. There's going to be some comic books which are going to get remembered for a very long time. We already know, like Miller's Dark Knight run and stuff which is going to live forever. Alan Moore's Watchmen, all these kind of things which people keep going back to and finding out more about them and keep looking in depth at what they were doing within the medium. This, I think, could be one of them because it is such a challenge to do what they did within this medium, but they did it with such style and panache and elegance that people are going to keep looking to this for an example of how you can do this kind of storytelling, not just at all, but well. I mean, obviously, well, it's one of the best things I've read this year. I've already seen it, I think, on 2 other people's best of the year lists. I think anyone who hasn't read this and hasn't realised how good it is missing out, and you need to rectify that. If you're lucky enough to have a comic book shop that's open near you, go and buy the set from them, buy the trade paperback. It is worth it. Just go home, sit with a nice warm drink or a cold beer, and let yourself get lost in this world with these amazing characters. And I think I managed to do this entire review without telling you anything about the story, because you do need to experience it. You have to sit there and to have it presented to you and delve into it and enjoy every aspect of it for yourself. Somebody like me just telling you about it through the screen on your phone or whatever is not going to do it justice. You need to get this book. That is it for me for now. No review today. I've basically got a bit bogged down with some other stuff. The best of are going to keep coming out, but if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, hit the like, subscribe button. You know by now what to do. Until I see you again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.